first thing I'm going to do is put my seatbelt on. Alright. Anytime that you get in the truck, perform a safe start. Make sure the truck is in neutral. Press the clutch all the way in. I turned the key on and checked my ABS light. Came on, went off. Start the truck up. I got the window down a little bit so I can hear my air dryer sneeze. We're going to build up air pressure between 120 and 140 psi. When that shuts off, we'll hear the sneeze when the air tanks are full. There's my sneeze telling me my tanks are full. So what I'm going to do is place the vehicle in low gear. Turn the key off. Now turn the key back on so my gauges work. Release my brakes. And wait for the initial air loss. After my initial air loss, I'm going to apply full pressure to my service brake. Let the gauges adjust. And I'm going to hold it for 1 minute. Time it for 1 minute. I shouldn't lose more than 4 psi during that 1 minute. Once that 1 minute passes, let them know I didn't lose more than 4 psi. Next, I'm going to check my warning light and buzzer. That should come on around 60 psi. So I'm going to fan off some air until it gets down to 60. Alright, it's down to 60. My warning light and buzzer went off. That's working correctly. Now I'm going to check my spring brakes to make sure they activate, which should be between 20 and 40 psi. The spring brakes activate and my valves will pop out. One. There's the other.
Okay.
My spring brakes are working. Now I'm going to do a second safe start. Pressing my clutch. Make sure the vehicle's in neutral. Start the vehicle.
Can you give me please the name for all?
Yeah, we'll go through all that after this. Now we're going to build up air at 60 psi. My warning light and buzzer should shut off, but it must shut off before 75. Speed this up a little bit. warning light and buzzer went off. It was before 75 psi. Now I'm just going to monitor between 85 and 100. And it shouldn't take no longer than 45 seconds.
When you restart, you put the oh, they already pop up when the air that you lost the air.
It's at 100, between 85 and 100. Shouldn't take more than 45 seconds. Now we're going to let it build up again to the tanks are full, between 120 and 140. That 85 to 100 is unassisted. My sneeze telling me my tanks are full. Now I'm going to do a tug test and make sure my brakes are working. Using the clutch, put it in low gear. I'm going to push in, which is releasing the trailer brake. I'm going to test the tractor brake to make sure it's holding. Should be released. I'm just going to ease off the clutch, feel the resistance of the brake holding, push it back in. Reset my trailer brake, release my tractor brake. I'm going to tug against the trailer brake to make sure it's holding. Just ease out the clutch, feel the resistance. Push the clutch back in. Now I'm going to release both brakes. I'm going to ease off the clutch, roll forward, (5 to 10 feet), press on my service brake. That's working. Put it back in neutral. Set my brakes, and that's my brake test. My in-cab inspection, I start at the top, I work my way down to the floor, and then at the gauges and work my way towards my body. So my overhead compartments, everything's tucked away, nothing's going to fall out and interfere with my driving. My sun visors are securely mounted, they're working properly. My windshield is free of any illegal stickers, no cracks longer than an inch, no chips bigger than a dime. My window seal is intact and good. My windshield wipers working properly, good rubber and good tension. My washer fluid is also working correctly. My dash is free of any debris, anything that's going to interfere with my driving. My floor is free of any debris, anything that's going to roll down into my pedals. My gear shifter is straight, it's not bent, it's not damaged. The rubber boot has a good seal to the floor, and there's no abrasions, cuts, or holes in my rubber boot. my selector switch working properly. My pedals, I have my clutch, my service brake, and my accelerator. All of them had good rubber, free of any debris from behind them. On my dashboard, this far gauge is my service brake gauge. Shows how much pressure I'm putting on the service brake. This gauge is my tachometer or my RPM gauge. It's working. It's at 6,000 RPMs. This gauge is my speedometer. It was working the last time we used this vehicle. My smaller gauge, my water temperature, and my oil pressure gauge are both at normal operating range. My fuel gauge shows I have a little bit more than half tank. My DEF gauge, which the lights says it's full. In this display, I can push my plus sign until my voltmeter comes up. It says 13.7, which means it's charging my batteries. And my air gauges on this side is my primary one. This is my secondary one. They both are working properly. We just did a brake test. Do my turn signals. My right signal works. My left signal works. My high beam indicator is working correctly. My four-way flashers working correctly. We're hazards. Over here is I need to check my heat and defrost. Make sure that's working correctly. So I can feel it blowing out. It's working. Come to my steering wheel. I have no more than 2 inches of play in my 20-inch wheel. My city horn works. My air horn works. My windows operating properly. They go up and down, both sides. My mirrors are adjusted for me. I can see clearly. My seat is adjusted for me properly. My seat belt has no rips, tears, or frays. And it latches and unlatches properly. Latch it and unlatch it. Secure. I have spare fuses if I need them, or I would have circuit breakers that I could reset. I have 3 reflective triangles in the back, and I also have a fire extinguisher that's fully charged with a pin in it.